Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Equine Connection. This is our second live that we've done from Australia. I'm going to be joined shortly by a wonderful guest speaker who is a facilitator who has gone through our course here but is now doing amazing things. So really happy to welcome her. But first of all, I'll introduce myself. My name's Jane Hemingway Moore, and I am the instructor for Equine Connection, the Academy of Equine Assisted Learning down under here in Australia. So we kind of share the time zones now. We're doing the course virtually rather than doing it all hands-on, as was kind of dictated by circumstances with COVID, but it's been a really great change, so that's really fortunate. So we're going to be joined today. Oh, yes, I did want to say that normally you would see my I wanted to say sidekick, but she's way more than a sidekick. Normally you would see the beautiful Alice Field here with me, but she's been a bit unwell, so you're stuck with just me today. So I'm really very happy that I have a wonderful guest speaker about to join me on this live today. So, if anyone of you read the promo about this, we were talking about, creativity. So really, creativity is to do with connecting things that are seemingly unconnected. Working with horses is all about connection, as we know, but making those funny connections between things that don't seem to be related is quite a talent. So Alecia, who I'm bringing on today, will be talking about that she's actually been able to do this. So I will be bringing on her shortly. Alecia runs a wonderful company called Urban Connections. I'm based in Sydney, and this is actually her business is near a city called Newcastle, which is a couple of hours north of Sydney. So they have a wonderful setup there, and she combines all sorts of things. So she combines equine assisted learning with therapeutic horticulture and yoga and meditation. So what an amazing plethora of activities and experiences for her clients. So I'm hoping that she's there waiting, and I'm going to be able to bring her on camera. Where are my viewers showing up? Where are you, viewers? Well, I can't see her at the moment. I'm sure she's there because we were just actually speaking. No, where is Alecia? Where are you? Anyway, well, I'll keep chatting for a little bit until she can come on. The funny thing about Australia, it is a first world country, and you'd think that we would have absolutely amazing internet connectivity, and it worked very. If there is a little delay, here she is.
Now, Jane.
You got me. All right, great. So I just introduced you, Alecia, and I'd said a little bit about what you do and how today is about being creative and connecting things that are seemingly unconnected. And I've said how, without giving much away, because it's your story, I've said about how, you've connected three amazing kind of areas of your life to create beautiful experiences for your clients. So it's just an sorts of backgrounds. So we have, we have teachers. Of course, we have, people to do with horses and riding and things, which EAL is not. So it's a different arm to that. We have psychologists. We have horticulturalists. We have naturopathy people. We have naturopaths, they're called. We have business people. We've had people from law and medicine. It's amazing the range of skills that people can bring in and combine with their passion for working with horses. So without further ado, I would like to you to the beautiful Alecia Green, Although I noticed on your website you might be going by your married name now, so I apologise for that. But
Yes.
tell us all about that. So, yeah, if you'd like start off and tell us a bit about yourself, including that you like about where you grew up, anything you'd like to include. We'd love to hear a bit about your story. So take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Jane. Thanks for having me on today. So as Jane mentioned, I'm Alecia from Urban Connection Life Skills. So I grew up with horses. I always was involved with horses from a young age, and I was fortunate enough to own my own horse later in my teens, which has carried right through my life with me. So I'm very lucky to now have all of our horses on our own property. Straight after school, I went out and I studied horticulture, which led me into a fantastic career in commercial horticulture. It took me all over Australia and all over the world, and I was fortunate enough to work with lots of wonderful teams and lead them through various development and leadership programs throughout my 15 years in commercial horticulture. In 2016, I decided that I wanted to make a bit of a pivot or a change in my career. So my husband and I actually went on the lookout for our property to build the business on. So yeah, I guess commercial horticulture was fantastic for me, but I guess at times it became quite stressful, and the reason that I wanted to make that change is because it occurred to me that there must be other people out there that felt that way within their jobs, that needed a place to be able to reconnect or to be able to just develop their skills and release some of the stress that they were having in their work. So we built our business here out at Eagleton, and we decided to combine our passion, or my passion, horticulture with EAL. So I'm qualified horticulturalist, and I did my certification with Jane in 2018. And I'm actually just an enthusiastic yoga meditation person. So that was a love that I decided to bring in, because really, you know, with the horticulture and the EAL, it's all about observation of and learning and communication through others and other things, whereas the yoga meditation is all about learning and reflecting through ourselves. So, yeah.
I love that. Do that. You are 100% right. You are absolutely not alone. Your feeling of our kind of big life, corporate life can just get overwhelming, and there can be times where you feel like, you know, you're giving, and it's so draining.
Yep.
And I think your program out there will be more kind of self-aware, aware of others who they're with, you know, that beautiful balance that maybe so either decide they need to stay in those jobs, they can't make that like Alice is a great one. Very overwhelming, beautiful opportunity to travel the world, work with teams around the world, but then when it came to it, it was just too much, and then she could see there was this need out there. So I love the fact that such beautiful space, run workshops and things like that, haven't you?
Sorry, I just missed that, Jane. It just cut out. Can you just ask that last question again?
But tell us a bit about the space that you have developed there at Eagle.
Okay, so we built a conference centre, and just off the back of the conference centre, we actually have our arena. So we have a really beautiful space that people can come and enjoy the inside, and we can hold up to 30 people as a conference space, and guests can watch and overlook the arena where the participants are doing their activities through the program.
That's beautiful. And is it like a multi-purpose conference centre. You could have all the different programs.
It is a multi-purpose, so we actually have an Airbnb on site as well, but it is a multi-purpose facility. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's great. We've done something similar here, built a space that we can consider to what our clients, so we have blank room.
Yes.
Or you can put up desks, or you can have classroom style. You can have a long table so people can sit around it, or just for the food, the catering part, you can have the room. So it's a great space.
It is. It's a really flexible space, I like to call it, because we had the girls doing yoga in there, and there's plenty of space to spread out inside and then also out onto the deck. And exactly like you say, you can put big tables up. We can have small tables. It's a really universal conference space that people can use, and it ties in so well with all of our other activities.
Great. And could you please tell me a little bit about the way you combine for your corporate teams, but team building with horses, and you have a team building with your horticulture. So I love the way you've got those two things. Can you explain a bit about how they kind of work together?
Yeah. So, nature is living. So even though, we look to our horses, they communicate through their body language, and we have to use our observation skills to be able to understand what they're communicating. And plants are not too dissimilar. They will give us all the early warning signs if we know how to read it. So I suppose, I digress a little bit, but people have their heads in their phones so much nowadays. And I guess, we have to think back also, why do we travel? Sorry?
I'm glad you said phone. They have their heads in their...
Yeah. Or iPads. So, I like to think about, why do we travel, right? We travel because we want to observe. We want to have a look at other different things. We want to experience and immerse in different culture. I guess how often might we take the kids somewhere and we're driving along a beautiful country road and observing the scenery and just how great the open space might feel, and the kids might be in the background, in the back seats, just glued to their iPads, and they're missing everything that's going by. And that's just the best bit about traveling. And I think observation skills is such a fundamental base to everything that builds on top of that I think we do in EAL and horticulture. So I have got a point, but the EAL and the horticulture, they both require these observation skills. And if we are switched on to observe, then that leads us to make a decision, and they can be just day-to-day decisions, or they can be really big life-changing decisions, career, location, moving, all sorts of different things that come by our lives. So if we're not observing, then how do we make really conscious decisions? So horticulture and EAL, you have to observe the horse and you have to observe the plants. And both of them require problem solving. If we want to plant out a garden, we have to think, okay, this plant's going to grow too big, it's going to overcrowd the smaller plants, so perhaps we need to allow more space, or we won't choose that plant. So we've put together programs that really complement the EAL programs that I guess they come back to problem solving and observation skills. So we partner that when we've got larger groups, and we will split the groups into, say, two. We'll have one group in the arena in the morning and the horticulture and in the afternoon, and then we'll switch the groups throughout the day. So it's a really lovely two programs that partner together.
I love that so much. You and I have spoken about it before, and I just love the whole feeling of it. And I saw on your website that you've written, problem solving within nature. Who thought we could learn so much from plants and animals? I just love that statement, and it's so true. I really do. There was one other thing, or a couple of other things I wanted to touch on. But I remember you telling me recently that you had applied for one of the Shark Tank, I'll say one of the, and you did well there. Can you, with the EAL and your whole concept in mind, can you run us through that? That sounds like kind of fun and really interesting.
Yeah, it was a fantastic experience. So it was actually an initiative from Port Stephens City Council, and they released it in the middle of COVID. It was to get new businesses within the area to join a program where we worked with a mentor to go through our business plans and our ideas of what we were going to bring to the local area. And then at the end of, I think it was meant to be a 3-month program. However, it actually stretched out to, I think, 6 or 9, just because everything was done by Zoom. But at the end, we did a pitch night where we pitched our business model to a group of investors. Investors could have been people that literally wanted to invest, or simply businesses that wanted to take their teams and participate in our programs. So we did that, I think it was in October, and it's been fantastic. So it's really connected us with the local community, and I've got some fantastic contacts out of it that are now coming through the system, or coming through our programs, and have got many staff on their books that would like to book continuous programs moving forward. So it's been fantastic. They also had a mentoring program throughout the 9 months, but that's also continued because we've been lucky enough to have funding through the COVID. So I encourage anybody out there that has those opportunities available to them to absolutely jump on them.
And how did you find out about it?
Just scrolling through Facebook. It popped up on my newsfeed one day.
Fantastic. So it really is worthwhile to keep your eye out for those things, and you never know what opportunities can come up. That just sounds like such an amazing experience, both personally, professionally, for business, but also now with those contacts and coming through. That's just fantastic. I have to tell a really funny story about Alecia as well. She's a highly dedicated young lady. So was, as she said before, she was certified in 2000, certified prior to one of our international conferences. So we concurrently run the conference in Canada and Australia, and we invite everyone from the 2 hemispheres, I'll say, to attend the appropriate one. This will be because of all the restrictions, probably be Zoom format, but that's just an aside. But anyway, we were still allowed to do things in person, and so Alecia really wanted to come, but my gosh, bless her, she literally got married the week before, and instead of going on her, she came to my conference. So talk about dedication. So that is just, we've laughed about that, but and I'm sure your new hubby had a bit of a giggle as well. But what a good bloke.
He's a good sport.
So, yeah, yes, he is a good sport. So that's really great. So I really loved about that, hearing about that Shark Tank and those opportunities. It's a bit similar with things like the funding that goes on around. Just keep your, it's really great to keep your eyes and ears open for that. Look on local, yours was through a council, look through your local government, websites and things for those opportunities, because look at how that turned out for Alecia. It's been a really amazing experience. And I think we were talking before we came live, Alecia, about, renewing energy when things are tough, because obviously 2020 was a tough year for everybody, and particularly because, in this game, we kind of, we run face-to-face businesses. So trying to, think of innovative ways to come up and still have that. I mean, we're lucky here in Australia now that the restrictions are so much more eased and we can have those things again. But it was, a good year in a way, but we just couldn't do those. We couldn't run our normal programs. So it was a really tough year to get through, and what an amazing opportunity you had with the Shark Tank. So yeah, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So, is there anything else you'd like to add, Alecia, today? I've had a wonderful time chatting to you.
Yes, thank you, Jane. I'd just like to say, starting your own business, it can be the hardest thing you'll ever do, but the most rewarding thing. I guess it's so important to have a good support network, and I've really felt that through the EAL team nationally in Australia, but also internationally with the guys in Canada. So it's fantastic to have that support. We needed a bit of a hand actually getting our conference centre through, and Kari and Carolyn were fantastic in helping me with some documents that were able to support that development for us. So, I guess we're experts in our field. So we're experts in equine, we're experts, me in horticulture and others in your own fields. But we're not experts perhaps at accounting or marketing or graphic design. So when you start your own business, you have to be a professional all of a sudden at these things. So, having a great support network around you that can help you with not just your EAL, but other facets of your business is just such an important thing to help keep the ball moving, because it's those little things that can just trip you up and I guess perhaps pull you back or slow things down that are just really small in the big picture. So if you can have some help and have some support network through all facets of your business, it will just help keep things moving.
That's such great advice, Alecia. I completely agree. It can become, we were speaking before about becoming overwhelmed, and it can become overwhelming.
Yeah,
everything.
absolutely.
So having that professionally, being able to with someone is great. And the other thing I wanted to say is, please, I'll put what your website is. People would love to in doing.
Sorry, I missed that bit, Jane, again. It just cut out.
Just let us know what your website is so that we can take that.
Oh, okay, lovely. So our website is urbanconnectionlifeskills.com. So connection is singular, no S on the end.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep putting connections, I think.
That's all right. I think a lot of people do.
And I will put in the comments as well, so people can jump on and check out what you're doing. Hi, Cami. Cami's watching. You know Cami, don't you, Alecia, from the conference?
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yep.
And she's saying as well, outsource what we don't know and focus on what we know.
Absolutely.
Exactly the advice. I think that's so great. So I want to thank you very much for your time. I really love motivation, helping many people who are, losing that motivation at the time because of the tough time we've been through. But I think you and I both have blue sky behind us, Alecia, and I think that's what's in store for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're getting through the worst of it, and everyone's, today was about Christmas. With a view of Christmas as well. So thank you for your input, and we will chat soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Jane.
Pleasure.
See you. Bye, guys.